Hey, it's the Low Life Podcast.
Do you know anything about that? Can you jam the songs on Cowboys and Cyberspace? Ever read Neuromancer? Ever experienced the new wave? Next wave? Dream wave? Or cyberpunk? I didn't think so. It may be. It's a world where you can't just say. I'm going to enjoy. A world where curiosity and imagination.
Go away, Baton!
All right, zip them up. It's the Low Life Podcast. This is your boy, Coyops McGillicuddy here in the year 2024.
The future.
Boy.
It's
That sigh just said everything. Like I said to the fellow that toasted me on New Year's Eve at midnight, or at 11:59 p.m. It's gonna suck. It's gonna suck this year. This year is gonna suck so hard.
Yep.
It's gonna get worse.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
It's just like I noticed on
Like
there's other people.
It already
Hold
did
up.
not
There's
start
other-
out well.
You guys are here. Shadowlink.
Yeah.
All right. Scum.
Hi.
Zero.
Hello.
All right, cool. Let's get back to the whole thing that all the influencers and stuff that get forced into my various feeds. I'm not seeing a lot of them being like 2024 is my year. I'm not seeing it. I think subconsciously after 4 years of plague and knowing that this is a fucking election year with a Nazi insurrectionist that still isn't in jail for some fucking reason, and we're already seeing his calls to violence. It's going to be a shitty year, guys. Sorry.
That's gonna
I hope you guys got to see Godzilla -1 in the theaters last year, because that's as good as it gets.
Well, I was going to say, great previews though, leading up to this season. I'm excited.
Ooh.
I'm excited.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh man. Yeah. This year already started like dog shit. Like it already sucks. I'm just pissed off all the time. Just fucking.
Clutch isn't even playing like DC or Maryland.
God damn it.
They're playing like Richmond, and I think the closest one might be Delaware.
They're like, fuck that. We're not playing there.
Wow.
We're not going there. I do not blame you, Clutch. Just stay away. Stay away as far as you can.
No.
As far as possible.
No.
I'd like to see you in concert again. That'd be great. Anyhow.
Coin-Ups, I'm sorry, but you're just in the wrong neighborhood, man. It's a bad neighborhood.
The mean streets of Arlington, Virginia.
You can be tough,
Yeah. All of my upbringing didn't prepare me for this.
There's not enough.
That I believe. That I actually 100%
There's
believe.
not enough. There aren't enough biker bars around there for Clutch to feel safe.
There are more than you would think. And it'd still be closer than Richmond, But
No, it's just weird because Clutch is a little bit of a religion, and Southern Maryland, Northern Virginia, Clutch is big.
yeah, this is their home stomping grounds, and it's funny that they're just like, fuck it. I respect it. It makes me sad. I wish they were like Columbus. They're playing Columbus, and it'd be great to see them, especially if they got some new stuff coming out. But even so, it doesn't matter because I haven't seen them since fucking first album tour, and it's like I need to kind of circle that square. It's just making me sad. Hey, before we get started, I just wanted to mention that we have a Patreon.
We do.
It is check it out.
Shameless self-promotion.
Yes, we're doing it up top now because we've been really good about forgetting and also putting it like at the end and even forgetting to put it at the end. So we should mention that. We also are going to be implementing a new funky thing where the Patreon at the $5 and up level will get to... Oh, you fuckers.
We are giving you the option to decide an episode. We're going to be doing a series of polls on the $5 and up levels of the Patreon.
You have power.
You
Yeah.
will have power to fuck with us in incredible ways.
Yeah, and we're going to give you those options. Basically, the way it's going to start out is like there'll be various weeks. Like every week, we'll change it, and it might be 3, might be 4 steps. Who knows? And it might not be like the next episode either, because we're going to want to, give it its due. But we're going to start with like you could vote for the type of episode, and then like after you pick like the type of episode, whether it's like news, deep dive, interview, whatever, some media review or something like that, we'll go on and figure out like what type of media. What I mean? We'll take it step by step so that you can kind of like get inside our heads and mess with us a little bit. And then on the back end of that, everybody gets to listen to the episode. Like that's not going to be behind the paywall. So
no, you're just going to have a chance to like maybe one of us does an episode we're not necessarily versed in.
Oh, see, that's the thing. The last question is going to be who leads the episode. And so you can really, really like give us some dog shit. Like you could make me like, I don't know, fucking talk about musicals. Don't do that.
Do you want to hear Coin Ops talk about teledildonics? Because that's the thing. We're going to mash it up where it's like, you would expect me to happily talk about teledildonics.
Yeah, in a 4-part.
However,
epic.
Which is probably going to happen. However, if you want someone who would be extremely uncomfortable about it, like, say, Coin Ops, do an episode
comfortable about it.
Teledildonics.
It'll be funnier if the wrong host is picked.
Exactly.
Exactly. We're giving you some...
This is going to be a disaster. I'm regretting this already. Like,
The more you explain it, the more I'm regretting it too.
Hey, Scum, back off your mic a little bit. You're too loud now. We should mention that we're also recording this, at least Zero and I, and Scum, in some absolute biblical fucking rain.
It's terrible.
Worse.
Yeah.
Listen, guys, in the dystopia, it's raining all the time.
We should mention it's 60 degrees and it's January 9th.
What the fuck?
Dude, I got like a non-ironic Silent Hill storm siren like just a few hours ago.
Yes. It's really wild. They closed the schools early.
Yep.
For rain. Yes. For rain. So enjoy
so wrong.
this.
It's
winter.
so wrong. Jesus Christ. What is happening? What is happening?
We used to be a proper country, right? We used to be a proper country.
Yeah. No.
Then the rains came.
I'm telling you, it's really funny
it's
because
Waterworld. It's Waterworld, you guys.
Can't wait.
Well, it's good that you can, just drink your own piss.
Yeah, you could just do that. You could punch Kevin Conroy. It's fucking great. He was in that, right?
Who's Kevin Conroy?
Kevin Costner.
Kevin Conroy was Batman.
He was the voice actor. He
Batman.
passed recently.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. That's why. I have Batman on the brain, and we'll get to that in this episode, actually.
Scum, why are you so fucking loud?
I don't know.
All right, so Zencaster's been doing this real fun thing where it just like makes Zero sound like he's in
not eat my
Arizona.
mic.
Like I'm a million miles away from the microphone.
Keep
I
an
think
eye on your
I think it's
waveform if you can.
Am I good
think
now?
it's picking up the exuberance in your voice there, Scum.
That's what it is. Am I okay now? Is this good
Well,
distance?
You're absolutely, you've buried the needle on a whole bunch of this stuff. If you laugh, turn your head away. How about that?
Okay, yeah.
Just for the... Yeah.
I am.
Don't. Why are you excited? Why are you enthusiastic? This isn't supposed to be entertaining. We're a
Off-brand.
serious, informational fucking podcast.
We've been doing this for how long, and the audio still fucks with us. It's incredible.
I think we're about to cut the cord here. I don't know.
Yeah, I think we might have to like bury Zencaster.
Logic just had a great update that does all sorts of really fun mastering things that I was relying on this to do, and it's like, well, all right. So looking for other options. I save myself $20 a month.
Exactly.
All right. So this episode, now that we're 7 and almost 8 minutes into it, is it's about the public domain and how a bunch of stuff just came out. And you're allowed to basically do brain graffiti all over it now forever and ever.
Yeah.
Scum, you got a little background on this for us here, right?
I do. Let me just get to that. To put my glasses on like a professional and turn
Hold on, one second. Sorry, Scum, give us the Patreon info one more time, and I have some news for
Oh shit, we skipped a step. Fuck.
Nah.
Patreon.com/neondystopia. Drop us a few bucks if you were so inclined, so we can avoid sponsors such as this.
Yeah, so horrible sponsors. We get approached a lot by sponsors. We've been saying no up until this point. We really want to just rely on our donations. And as I said before, if even just one of every one of our million listeners sent us $1, we would be able to confidently say no to these kinds of offers. But So the first one we're entertaining here, and again, we haven't said yes to any of these yes, but looking at it, okay, let me put the list here. None of them are great. Starbies.
Starbies.
Oh god.
Starbies. Yeah. The first name in hot seasonal liquid meats. Starbies, come on down today. Enjoy a delicious, foamy, eye-stinging, horsey sausagino. Starbies, we have the liquid meats.
Wow.
I want
I have
an
questions.
au jus. I want an au jus.
I wasn't hungry until I started reading this.
I want a cold brew au jus. There it is.
Sounds exactly like the opposite of what coffee should do to you. That will put you into an instant food coma.
Boy, I just love drinking my hot cup of gravy in the morning.
Well, I think it's caffeinated gravy, so it's like a speed
okay.
up and down.
I'm in. When are we selling out? I need this.
Yeah, so again, that's a horrible sponsor, and we would really rather not rely on them, so we would direct you again to our Patreon.
Fuck.
At patreon.com/neon dystopia, where
There it is.
you get to vote on the $5 or higher tiers what episode we will occasionally do, and
Yeah.
we will make our lives probably miserable, and I can't wait.
I'm gonna go brew some bouillon real quick.
And actually, before we get into our message, our RP topic today, just a little story against suburban weirdness, and I think it kind of leads into this. There was so we had a lot of rain lately, so a lot of the rodents that live around here have been kind of getting up out of their holes and trying to get out of the wet. And this morning, the weirdest thing, we went into my car, and I think it's probably just a coincidence, but we went to our car, and somehow we had a water bottle, a little maybe like a half-liter water bottle in the center console, and my wife goes to take a drink of it, and as she's leaning it back, she notices there's a dead rat inside of the bottle. Somehow a rat crawled up inside of our car to get out of the rain, probably attracted by a Cheeto or errant Cheerio, and decided he wanted a drink, got into the water bottle, could not get himself out, and expired. That's the story that I'm telling myself in my head. However, given the subject of today's episode, I'm wondering if Big D isn't sending a message. You know what I
Wolf's
mean?
frozen head is just sitting there like, let him know it was me.
The mouse, man. The mouse gets his due, I'm telling you. So I'm not saying that's what it was,
Give
but
him an offer he can't refuse.
You come to me on this day of Steamboat Willie going into public domain.
Steamboat Willie sleeps with the Evian. Or maybe I'm just crazy. Maybe I think too much about these things. I don't know. It could just it's probably just an accident. It's probably just an accident.
Molto bene.
Fuck, man.
Oh man, oh no, I have an idea now.
Oh,
See,
no.
Now, like we were gonna save this for the very end of the episode, where we were gonna and we will still do that. But I have to say this now before I forget. I'm gonna take Steamboat Willie, all of his dialogue. I'm gonna cut the dialogue from Jared Leto in House of Gucci. Splice it in.
I like where you're going with this.
I think this could be a good mashup.
Oh, man.
Oh man.
And you were legally allowed to do that now.
Yeah.
Guillermo.
It's a transformative work.
Oh, so what? Oh, God,
So
help me. What did you guys
Let's talk a little bit
do?
about these.
Oh.
So Scum, what is the public domain?
I don't even know what I wrote anymore. Like, all right. Because it literally says in my notes, what the fuck is the public domain? Public domain is the magical place where all the creative works with no exclusive intellectual property rights apply. Because these works have no exclusive rights attached to them, you may use them or reference them as much as you like. Information demands to be free. The mouse won't kill you. Hack the planet.
Yeah.
The more you
Information
know.
wants to be free.
So you get basically books that were published
Information
before
wants to be
1929 and movies that were before 1925, which there aren't that many. But
I'm not going to go into like ancient history of what the fuck domain is in the origins of the word domain.
I mean, it goes back to like ancient Rome.
It goes
Like,
back
it's-
to like pre-Roman like shit. But the term,
And we even touched on it a little bit, I think, when we were doing the piracy episodes.
yeah, I'm pretty sure we actually did, which is wild. Go listen to past episodes. Listen, give us views, buy, consume. But the term, quote, fall into the public domain was first used in like mid 19th century France to describe the end of a copyright term. And it was kind of not used like well, because the idea of it was basically treated as if you're throwing something into a fucking pit.
Right. Yes.
A money pit, if you will.
Yeah, like the idea that like, oh, these things aren't worth shit because no one, like, they're not copyrighted. I think
they're not owned.
So
yeah, I think some poet like fucking said something about it.
Mozart's work can be
Yes.
Yeah.
but not
Absolutely.
Mozart's body, which was literally thrown into a pit.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep. But I'm ching. For books, they go into public domain if it was written with no copyright at all, a book created without a license, or just the copyright expired or was just straight up forfeited.
You have to have a license to write a book? God damn it.
I don't know. Some places like, publishing licenses, shit like that. Like this, what I'm talking about right now is like, this is a global thing.
Yeah, it's not like a driver's license. It's more like
I'm an
established distributor.
Yeah, again, because I had to sum this down to like 2 pages of notes and not like make this a 5-hour episode.
Yeah.
Right.
Because this is like a global thing. I will be a little America-centric in a second, but like that's basically how it works. In most countries, copyright expires the first day of January plus 70 years after the author's death, unless you are fucking Mexico, which some places in the world have like permanent fucking copyright, as in this will never fall into public domain. I think the UK has it for like royal dumb shit.
What do they have this one thing that will never
they have a
ever
stamp of the Queen, like a stamp of royalty or something. Like
there's
they
a
have
song
that.
or something, or like a movie or something.
Yeah,
they have this royal thing. As long as there is monarchy, this will be owned.
Yes, UK has that. Mexico has like 70 years, like the lifetime of the dude, and then like 100 plus, and then something else. They have really long copyright in Mexico.
Yeah.
In the US is unique that every book before 1929 is in the public domain. US copyright lasts for 95 years for books published between 1929 to 1978. If copyright was registered and maintained. So that's why, like, the works of, say, Edgar Allan Poe, Jane Austen, Lewis Carroll are all public domain worldwide, as they died well over 100 years ago.
Right.
Yeah.
So go nuts on Frankenstein.
Yeah, do it.
Absolutely. Yeah.
It's a good story. You should have fun. Everyone's been doing it for so fucking long.
Absolutely.
You should definitely read that book.
You should. You should read Frankenstein.
I understand the monster was the victim all along. Just
twist.
Maybe choke on my Red Bull, which would have been an ignoble ending to this.
That would have been an incredible way to end this series. The death on a Red Bull. It was a dark and stormy night. The boys had audio problems. Coinhouse fucking died
from a blue Red Bull.
That's the worst. That would be fucking pathetic.
Take the Red Bull. Take the blue bull.
You choke on either.
Sorry.
Music.
It's been a long time since we've recorded.
Yeah, we took our break was a
It's
little
been like
long.
2-3 weeks. Right?
Red Bull and Blue Bull. You mix into a Schlitz? Jesus.
Hell's yeah.
Fucking wish.
It's in the family. Go ahead.
Oh, fuck. Oh, my God. I can't fucking see. Fuck you guys.
Hysterical blindness? Jesus. Are you drinking the Red Bull Blue Bull mixture too?
No, just thinking the joke I made that coin-ops can't stop drinking, not for health reasons, but for like deep occult reasons.
Oh yeah, I'm doing dry January. You should all know this.
Yeah.
And so here's what I'm noticing is that I'm having too much energy. As an aside, I was going to tell the story before when we were recording, but I'll tell it now. First day I bartended here in DC or in Virginia. I was just like nervous energy, right? And these bars, like, you got to take the glasses back, get them washed, and when they come out, they're a little hot. So, sometimes you got to like let them cool off before you throw like ice in them or whatever and stuff like that. And I had one, I was about to pour a pint in it and it exploded in my hands. It like literally turned to crystal. And I was just like, I am too powerful.
Cold beer.
That's it. And that hasn't happened in years because I've been drinking too much. And now I'm not drinking and I feel it coming back and I think it's fucking with Zencaster.
Yes.
So...
This is going to be the season, guys. It's going to be a good one. It's gonna be
Weird,
weird.
weird energies. Yeah.
Alcoholism was my way of tying one arm behind my back to take on the world, and now
Fuck, man.
The kid gloves are coming off.
Yeah, we got a super weapon on our side. What podcast could say that?
God help you if I get my hands on amphetamines.
So music. This ties into you, CoinOps.
Yeah.
Music. The first language spoken by humanity has always been kind of preserved in the public domain. Like 4,000 years ago, the ancient Mesopotamians were preserving their systems of how to make music.
They heard somebody fart funny and went, "Oh,
Yeah.
there's something there."
Yeah, exactly. Like it's the same thing with like composers in the 17th century, like doing sheet music. Like we've always documented how we make music and who owns what. So originally,
And we did talk about like the counterfeiting issue.
Yeah. It was incredible.
It's batshit.
It's how I want to go out, just defending my printing press.
Right.
It's how I want to go out. And anyway, so originally in most places you would treat like the publishing of music composition like you would a book.
Mm-hmm.
Then recording technology became real cool.
Mm-hmm.
And it is largely seen I love this. It's largely like what I was taking this from. It was like it's just like the biggest copyright basically is like it's seen as hack to take someone else's composition.
Yeah.
Like, and that's really the biggest protection, like composition music. Like,
Very day class A. Very day class A.
basically, yeah. Like
Shame 'em.
it's a weirdly human thing. In the U.S., there is a distinction between musical composition and sound recording. One is the actual sheet music. The other is the recording performed by the artist, including CDs, LPs, and sound files.
Yeah.
Published musical composition before 1925 is all public domain. Go wild. Recorded music, sound recordings, do not enter the public domain until like 2021, between 2021 and 2067. So everything you're hearing now isn't quite there yet.
Right.
Which is, I thought was really interesting, but then you have to think of like big studios and how they own certain aspects of music and how that works.
You don't have to go that far. Well, I mean, I'm an old fuck, but like before we were born, like in the 60s and stuff, there were bands recording other band songs all the fucking time. Yeah. I mean, you get, at least 5 or 10, 15, 20 artists did fucking All Along the Watchtower.
Yeah.
It wasn't just Dylan. It wasn't just Hendrix. There was tons of people who did it. I think Three Dog Night has a cut.
Well, I mean, I think
Give Me Shelter by the Stones.
I think
like tons
the
of
further
people.
back you go, the further back you go in at least American history, the more you'll find examples of people just doing different renditions of the same song because it was folk music back then.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Now it's all copyrighted shit.
It wasn't too long ago that
including the Star Spangled Banner, for Christ's sake.
Yeah.
That was an English drinking song. They put new words on it.
Yeah. There was some, it wasn't that long. God, I want to say it was like maybe the 2000s or something like that. There was a country artist and an R&B artist who very close together, if not simultaneously. And I cannot remember the names of either of them, but it was the same song, but with two wildly different arrangements. They were both hits in their, respective genres and stuff like that. And it was really interesting it might have been further fucking back than that now that I think about it. But it was a song that had been covered like by, I think, one other person that didn't really take off. And then 2 other people, like some country artist guy and some like female R&B artist. Yeah. Each did a take on it. And it was dope. It was like, oh, that's really interesting that you can get that wildly different with lyrics, chord arrangements.
Because that's the thing. If you could get permission of the person who actually wrote the song, which is a different thing than actually performing it, then you can do whatever, Yeah,
licensing was a lot looser like back in the day.
It was a lot back in the day. It very much was. Yeah. So depending on the date and location of recording, there are between those years is like reliant on like the location where you physically recorded. There are, however, plenty of organizations who record for the public domain, such as MOUS Open, so Muse Open. They record like a classical. This is like archival shit because the best way to archive sheet music is to play it a lot of the time, and then it enters public domain, and then go crazy. So there's plenty of places out there that try and preserve it. Film's a lot simpler than this, which I thought was interesting. Film enters public domain if it never had a copyright, like Night of the Living Dead, for example, because the people who distributed and made that film, Romero, I don't know if it was Romero's fault, but like someone fucked up. They didn't put any copyright on the actual film.
On the print?
Yeah. There was no copyright on the print. And so that it was like public domain. So Night of the Living Dead's been public domain forever.
What a
And
legend.
everybody knows about Night of the Living Dead.
Weird.
a
What
lot.
about that?
Uh-huh.
Huh.
Yeah.
Imagine.
Yeah. Because, it's almost like the film got famous for some reason and got freely
Yeah.
distributed and everybody could fucking watch it.
It's really weird. Y'all have listeners at home have permission to copy this and distribute it freely.
Don't steal my voice. It's my
Information wants to be free.
Yeah, don't feed it to any chat GPT
Yeah, that's
shit.
that's my only fear.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Anyway.
Ass motherfucking bullshit algorithm. Anyway, go ahead.
So it enters the public domain if it never got stamped with copyright in the first place.
Yeah.
If it was released into public domain by like the author, like by design,
Mhm.
or its copyright has expired. So basically everything before like 1920, whatever.
Or isn't it also if the original benefactor is dead and there's nobody that can trace the work
Yes, that applies to nearly everything. I didn't take notes for this, but this is like my own experience with it. Is like
Sure,
the
sure.
works is like, for example, like the works of Lovecraft, right?
Yeah.
A lot of his stuff, everyone knows who the fuck wrote it. Everyone like knows this is very marketable in his lifetime. However, he died. His will got fucked up, and his
This cat had a fucked up name.
yeah, that too. Never forget that.
Yeah.
And like there was weird arguments between two of his like benefactors who possessed the rights to his work. You know,
Always.
or in the example of like Robert E. Howard, another person from that era.
I just thought maybe like H.P. Lovecraft was such a weirdo dipshit back in his time that like he didn't have anybody to bequeath all of his rights to. So
It's just as likely to have taken all of his writings, stuck them behind a wall, and put bricks up in front of it. You know what I mean?
That's actually how we found some of his letters.
Probably left them to his cat.
Which was what was the name of his cat? Like it wasn't his fault. A lot of his stuff was out of his hands. But like for example, Robert E. Howard,
but not the name of his cow.
No.
No.
So like Robert E. Howard, right? Another weird guy who, oddly enough, took a lot of stuff from stuff that was considered like open copyright as well, like the works of Blavatsky, like and stuff like that. So another example of using shit and making it transformative work, being inspired. But anyway, his stuff, his family, weirdly enough, owned it until they sold it to like I think Tencent, like not even that long ago, like
Wow.
like a while, like so Robert E. Howard, like his works are like marketed. Like Marvel uses like Conan the Barbarian comics, like they get to
that was
use
collaborative too. Robert E. Howard,
Yes.
they all
these
went
guys
together
collaborated,
and decided to put that ethos into their works, and it's a beautiful thread that strings them all together.
Yep. Yeah. So so like how these things change and evolve and how copyright works is both convoluted. It's extremely helpful because a lot of times copyright was kind of invented just to figure out who benefits from it, right? Which is important. We live in a capitalist society. You want to know if you can benefit from your work and make money, which is really, what it comes down to.
You're just trying to make a living, and it is work.
Exactly. It is work.
So,
absolutely. Then a corporation buys it.
If
And
some
then,
corporation is going to be cashing in on it every time it fucking airs, get your cut.
Exactly.
Pay the fucking writer, pay the director, pay the actors. What the fuck?
Yeah.
I don't know why this is so hard.
Yeah, I know, right?
Well, and here's the other thing. Like, you could also, in addition to these list of people, be a cool motherfucker. You can live an exceptionally long time with a body of work that is both erudite and hilarious. And you could be Tom Lehrer. He just gave all of his shit away. You can go to his website and download all of his shit, like everything he's ever fucking recorded. He's like, here, have it.
Rudy
and
Rucker
do things with it.
recently posted, I think, on his website. I believe it was Rudy Rucker. I think he posted the entire transcript of not transcript, but the manuscript of Mirror Shades on his website.
Oh, dope.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
Good. I've been meaning to read that.
yeah.
I know I read it back in the day, but it's just like, I need to read that.
Yeah.
And I mean, like, as much as obsessive as I am about Cyberpunk, I really haven't read a whole lot of the OGs, unfortunately.
Well, no, I mean, you're kind of a recent convert, man. There's so much.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
I can't believe what you've thrown
going
into the
back
fucking
in time.
info pump, for God's sake. Like,
So much.
I grew up with this. I'm like before
Yeah.
Tron. I'm older than Tron. You know what I mean? And I'm just like, I saw that in a theater and stuff like that. And to see what like has happened from then till now. Never mind the fact that the most terrifying cyberpunk moment in any film, and I'll fight you over this, is when the woman is pulled into the computer in Superman 3. I'm sorry. That is nightmare fucking fuel, dude. Nothing beats that. Nothing beats that. I should not have been in a theater to see that.
Well, here's the
The
interesting.
presence of Richard Pryor did not fucking save me in that movie.
So here's an interesting one. Shadowlink, Deathlink. No, that's something else.
Wow.
Shadowlink. Death Grips also put all their discography on their website.
Yeah, hell yeah.
Oh, fuck yeah. All right.
Fuck
So-
yeah.
yeah.
God, those guys are fucking awesome. And
Yeah,
just-
for a while. Yeah, they've had it on there.
Man, I don't know what they're doing nowadays. Like, they haven't come out with anything since 2019, I don't think. But
They were doing some shows for a minute.
all right. But
But
yeah,
I think they stopped it because somebody threw fucking something at
Well, yeah,
you.
you know about No Love Deep Web, right? Because they got signed to, I think, God, who was it? One of the big record labels.
Is it like Nova Mute or something?
I think I don't know. It started with a vowel. I want to say it was like Epic Records, but but that's not a thing, is it?
I don't know.
But anyways, but like they got into like a fight with these guys, but like arguments about the release date of No Love Deep Web, because apparently the producers had something they just didn't like it for some reason. I don't know. Maybe it's the copious amounts of like sexual content and like drug references in the lyricals.
Why would you sign them on if you already knew that? Their album cover was their cock.
Oh, well, no. This was the album where they released it, where it's just a picture of the guy's cock.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's why they leaked it. They leaked it, and that was the album cover.
Yeah, I was going to say they put their. Well, that was an example of putting your own shit into the public domain.
Yeah, that is
Well,
really
you know what?
Literally, a big fuck you. It's a beautiful fuck you.
I know they've had a couple albums out since this happened, but it wasn't that long ago. I think I was living here when. So like famously, De La Soul had a real hard time getting their stuff onto say Apple Music or Tidal and shit because they had so many samples.
Yeah.
Yes.
And they couldn't clear them all. So one day, I don't remember who did it, but for some reason it came up either like on my Twitter or like a fucking Instagram or something like that, where De La was like, "Yo, send us your email address and we'll send you our entire fucking discography."
Hell yeah!
And so I was like, "All right, let's see if this does it." And son of a bitch, I got all of their albums up to a certain point, like everything.
It's like artists don't even give a shit if they get money for what they do.
Well, I mean, that's how.
They do a little. They do.
Pretty
But
Lights back in the day made money like touring because like you could go to his website and just download the shit because he was using so many samples. He's like, you don't have to sell it. You can make the song, put it on your website, and kind of use that as a promotional fucking tool to get gigs. You know, there's ways to like noodle, this stuff.
A couple artists that Marble Ponds does like vaporwave Zelda tracks.
Yeah,
I fucking love it.
All right,
This would happen back in the day all the time with industrial releases. For the longest time, they would just release them, and then they started getting in trouble, and people noticed all the movie samples they're using, and then one of the Electric Hellfire Club releases was like delayed for almost a year or two because they had to get clearance on the.
Well, that was a big thing with some of the like the progressive breaks. Like the bigger, more epic stuff. They used to have these like really like any genre would have these, but you'd get these really weird white label mashups, and they were just blatantly fucking. I have this one that has "Welcome to the Terror Dome" with like fucking "Killing in the Name" is a mashup.
Nice.
Yeah, you might have heard me play it on the thing, and it's just
I've heard it before.
Yeah, you're not.
It's pretty sick.
You can't pay money for that. You know what I mean? Or if you do, nobody can know about it. You know what I mean? Like that's too good. But I don't think either of those artists would care simultaneously. You know what I mean?
This is why. Well, that's the thing. This is why, like shit, like I might do an episode on it just because it's very hackery and cyberpunky. Is the Creative Commons, which is a license that you can, or like you could basically that's a form of copyright where if it's in Creative Commons, or types of Creative Commons, like there are copyright that you can use where it's like okay, you can't claim this is yours. However, you can use whatever the guts of this thing and make something new and make money from it because we want you to do that. We want this to be transformative for you, and which is pretty cool. I like that. It's just as I think it's just as good, if not better, than this. Because it's the same thing.
It's intent. You know what you're doing with this.
Exactly. Yeah. You have to like taking from these historical works. you have to look at it as unlike it is a pit,
but it is a pit of creativity where it's like you have all of these incredible ideas and stuff from the past. And that's why we do like history episodes sometimes. It's like you have to look at the past and think about it and be inspired, essentially.
Well, I mean, and the pit's where we live.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't have any illusions about it. And so that's what makes us more like a fucking toy box as opposed to, oh, this stuff is so old and done, like.
Oh, man.
That's Matchbox 20.
Come on. You go through a junkyard, like, you may see a bunch of junk, but I see, it's some fun shit.
I see a need for power tools. I see
a bunch of stuff that I can take a pipe to and smash.
Yeah,
that trunk would make a great bench.
Trash treasure paradigm, yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. Like my biggest thing, and I guess we'll get to like because all of us pick stuff that we found like incredible from the public domain. Some of mine are from recent, but they were from whenever. And my biggest thing was figuring out like what inspired other people who had better access to these, who watched them possibly when they were maybe they were kids, they saw them, right? And inspire them to make other things.
Right. And this is the stuff that this is your favorite rapper's favorite rapper. You know what I mean? Like, this is the stuff that inspired, like, for example, like one of the works that you'll be talking about definitely inspired something iconic, in our era. And it's like, this stuff is interesting, and like history is interesting. Like if you ever get bored with stuff, I wish I never knew Jake Paul's name.
Yeah,
because like that takes up so many kilobytes of information that I could have inserted, like, I don't know, old serials. You know what I mean? Like, old Buck Rogers shit. Like that would have been more fun to think about, other than this guy walking into a forest in Japan. I don't need to know this. Why do I know this? It's awful.
Why do you know this?
Don't force it.
Why do you remind me?
That's a weird thing. Why?
That's what I'm saying. That's
why do you know this?
I don't look for it, dude. I know more about him than the current season of football for some fucking reason. Like that's what's. I don't know what's going on,
man.
For real.
It's been a rough 4 years, fellas.
I probably learned a lot about you just now.
No, just wait. Anyhow, but yeah, no. So all this stuff, where we at? Like, what? Do you want to? Yeah, let's do the round robin.
Yeah. Who wants to go first?
Let's give the description first, and then we'll tell the title at the end.
Oh, all right. No, because mine aren't like that. I would just do it like you do it.
I thought we were going to talk about just kind of what the public domain means to each of us personally.
Oh, it's a cool place for me to mine shit.
Yeah.
I mean, honest to God, like mine ideas.
Well, see, God damn it, I came up with like 2 pages of shit. So.
Oh no, I didn't. Boy, you've been on a tear lately. I'm still in my whole like writer's blockness.
It's the amphetamines, you guys. It's the amphetamines.
There you go.
Absolutely.
No, I'm in full Philocadic mode right now.
It's one of those things for me that's just kind of like it. I'm glad it exists over there. And I know I'm glad that I can go and like pull from it. And I wish like hell that someone had like put that in a spreadsheet. like just all of it. Here's the book spreadsheet. Here's the music spreadsheet.
Same.
Because I found one. Someone had done it. It was some sort of a company that was like doing it for reasons, basically to put it out there for Hollywood. And it was like cool because they had it set up where you'd see like the year, it's all the same year. All that shit was 1928 that came out this year. But like you'd go to like the Wikipedia page and then go down the rabbit hole. And I didn't have to do too much. I went to the Wikipedia for one because I'd read the book and I just needed a refresher. And I'm like, all right, here's how I'm going to switch it. But like it's a lot to pull from. And you have to kind of just go through them. And you only got to read a couple sentences before you know whether or not this is your shit. Like it's... Yeah. Some of the stuff is completely of its time, and if you're a historian, you're going to be fascinated by this stuff.
Well, especially that's the challenge too. It's putting the lens on it that makes it relevant and interesting for today.
Yeah.
Exactly.
It's a challenge.
You do it with anything. Yeah, you do it with anything. Like
the challenge. Yeah.
You even do stuff from the '80s, and you try to like, what's that like now?
And like it's kind of been unofficially in the public domain, but last year, Metropolis came out.
Yep.
Right.
Yeah.
And like that's I mean, that's Yeah, that's very relevant. So,
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, because I think this year Coppola's magnum opus is supposed to be coming out, Megalopolis.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, shit. I forgot about
Wow.
It's like $300 million fucking giant. He's just wanted to make the sci-fi epic
that.
forever and ever.
Yeah, I hope it's good. I hope.
I
do
do
too.
too. I do too.
Adam Driver released a statement recently where he was just like, "Yeah, this thing's mind blowing," and I was like,
Yeah, isn't
well, you're in
Oscar
it.
Isaac is in it as well?
"I think I'm in it. I think like literally, like he just did something. It's like that Schenectady, New York movie where it's just like the town inside the dome inside the town.
They have the technology now. They'll put you in it, man.
Yeah, seriously.
Yeah. Cast Chris D'Elia, digitally remove him, put me in. Give me the Tig Notaro treatment. It'd be great.
So what are we feeling for the public domain? Like,
All right,
what do we got?
I'll go first. I'm going to go in reverse order. All right. So there's this one book called Lord Peter Views the Body by Dorothy L. Sanders. And it's basically, it's 12 stories about gentleman detective Lord Peter Whimsy. First of all,
Nice. Hero of the realm, I'm told.
he was one of the
Great
stories.
name. It's almost as good of a name as Bumfardo.
Oh,
I gotta say.
Yeah, stay tuned. Dog ear that.
Keep it under wraps.
You don't understand. I need to
Just
do
leave
that.
it there. Just leave it there. Dangle it in front of them. They have no idea what the fuck you're
You
talking
don't even
about.
know.
It's enough. Said too much already.
Anyway, one of these stories, there's 12 of these stories, and I think most of them would take a little tweaking, but this one in particular, I definitely, I can't remember the name of it because I didn't write it down because I'm a jackass. Oh, no, I did. It's called The Abominable History of the Man with Copper Fingers.
Oh God! Oh, that's amazing. The abominable history of the man with copper fingers.
Come on.
Holy shit!
That's amazing.
Perfect.
That is incredible. Oh.
That's like my first album title. I mean, it's just... Anyway, so...
You've got
Let's make
your fucking cyberpunk right there. Copper fingers, come on.
That or
wait.
King Crimson album, you know.
It gets more fucked up. So the story is this Whimsy staying in this like hotel or staying at some rich fuck's house who does things, and there's this statue. And he like Whimsy notices the guy kind of disappear behind this statue of this woman. It's like a statue of his wife, right?
Yeah.
Or his mistress or whatever. So the story basically involves the antagonist murdering and electroplating his mistress after incorrectly assuming she was having an affair, and he turns her into this fucking statue. And one guy there shows Whimsy, he breaks her arm. He like cracks it, and there's bone, and he's like,
Ugh.
this is his wife.
That's
and
fucked
he's
up.
like, oh my god. So anyway, they have this big
That's
fight at
fucked
the
up.
end, and he ends up knocking him into this vat of cyanide and shit that electroplates him, and that's how he dies.
Okay,
Like
that's
a-
all metal as fuck, and his name is fucking Whimsy.
Yeah.
I
Like a
I will-
cyberpunk Bluebeard there.
absolutely
Oh,
take
man.
the time to like steampunk that one or like cyberpunk that up, like because that's just like he's hiding a murder in like plain sight, first of all, which is kind of fun. But like the fact that it's 1928 and she's talking about like electroplating, and I'm just like, man, we really haven't moved that far. You know, like it's people still using that term. You know, it's like I don't know how that would work. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, there may be a little slightly fictional element there. I don't know if that's quite how that works.
I mean,
But yeah, there was
Yeah.
something.
Well,
happened.
what if a guy's like, making his wife into a cyborg against her will, like a boxing Helena kind of shit?
I mean,
Uh-huh.
yeah.
See, there you go. I
Yeah.
mean, that's the joy of digging into this shit.
Yeah.
All right, who's
Precisely.
next?
Okay. So my first one is like it was the first thing I gravitated towards for public domain was the film. And this has been like, people have uploaded this to other places for ages, much like Metropolis. But I got to see the good shit because that came on day of on Wikipedia. Was The Man Who Laughs, 1928.
Nice.
And I gotta. So
It's
if
the
you know-
Joker.
It's the Joker. Yeah, it's the inspiration for the Joker. Like not just Batman the animated series, but like
If you look at any
just
like
the Joker.
screenshot, then yeah. I mean,
Well, the first appearance, it's dead nuts.
oh, absolutely.
Yes, and I already knew that. I knew that for a long time, but then I actually watched it,
and it is both not. It was done in a German expressionist style. So it was always kind of like dark and gloomy, and people like it was always labeled as a horror film. It's really a melodrama, and you really like this dude.
Yeah, the way you describe it kind of makes me think of like Jane Eyre.
A little bit. Like there's some
'cause-
swashbuckling. There's some like
because I remember it was a little. That one was a little like it was also kind of spooky. It was very expressionistic as well.
Yeah.
But I mean, but it's like it's not a
perhaps,
horror movie.
Perhaps it reflects on the horror of life.
Yeah, I was gonna say that really seems to be the existential horror because
Oh yeah.
you tell everybody what the whole premise is.
Well, the premise is basically like it. Honestly, my only complaint is it wasn't like set in France. It's set in England, and the English royalty is kind of just funny. French royalty, this level of decadence would have made a little bit more sense. But basically, a fucking king, like he finds a rebel lord, a lord who's like rebelling against him. They found him like. And to punish him before throwing him in an Iron Maiden is to hire surgeons to disfigure his son's face, then kill him.
That's some metal shit right there.
Yeah, that's fucked up.
Yeah, there's some weird like stuff about like Romani people, like the idea that like this is like an old folklore thing of like, oh, they're banned wandering surgeons that'll like disfigure your children's face to make them clowns. Like that was a real folklore thing.
Dude, that's futuristic, man.
Yeah,
that's how
we're
we're gonna
right there.
We're gonna have roving bands of doctors in the future here.
Yeah.
Like,
So the king bans, of course, the Romani from England because of this to cover up what this horrible fucking thing he did, and they leave the kid there with a permanent grin on his face. He finds like a baby, who, like her mom had died. Like again, this is like all deep dark shit. There's like corpses hanging from like gallows and shit, like because the king's fucked up. And they find like this wandering philosopher who's just like this funny old guy with like weird hair, and he's like, "Oh, I'll take you in," you know. You know, they grow up. He is this huge fucking dude with this horrifying expression, and he could express himself. Like it's a lot of good acting, a lot of acting with your eyes, you know. Long story short, finds out who his dad did. He was a lord. They want to manipulate him to like put him back in. He's this like countryside. He's basically a celebrity because everyone knows the Laughing Man, you know.
Yeah.
And so, you know, swashbuckling ensues, you know, oh, God made me, you know, he rejoins his people. It's like, again, go watch it. It's a great film, but there's so much inspiration here. Like, you could do so much.
that should have been the end of Clowns.
And the big difference is like, you think this is going to be like, because, you know, inspiration of the Joker, you know, like, no, now that I know what the film is about, I'm like, you really like him. He's like a Quasimodo, you know?
I was going to say, it sounds very Quasimodo.
Very.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
Well, who's next?
There's a lot of potential. So are we? I made my little dust jacket description of what I would adapt.
Yeah.
In the public.
Yeah, if you want to.
All right. Well, so I picked,
Hit him with one of yours, and then I'll do mine, and then we'll go again.
Yeah, my first one that I picked was Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde.
Hell's
Because
yeah.
I think that there's a lot of potential there for.
This is one that I was going to pick before I heard that you picked it.
Yeah.
Exactly. I was going to pick it before you picked it, and yeah, I've always thought it's a really underused property. It was a really good pick.
Yeah. I mean, like everybody knows about it, but I feel like because of fucking Looney Tunes or some shit. But it's like, I mean, it's classic Gothic fiction, and it's not as often referenced as like Frankenstein, and
It's
the
been
questions
harder.
that it asks about like the duality of man.
It's been hard. You know, I think that, honest to God, the Incredible Hulk has examined the shit out of that like theme for sure.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I think the problem with that is the last time we actually saw like a Jekyll and Hyde in cinema was in fucking The League of Extraordinary Gentlemen, and they just made him a Hulk.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I think that it's time for it to be kind of reborn and turned into something else.
Yeah, I mean, and the thing with the and I'm gonna say this right now, like I have only seen the Hulk once, the Ang Lee Hulk once, and I actually really enjoyed it. I was 12 at the time.
I still have a soft spot for that piece of shit.
I really related to it. I've always really related to the Hulk a little bit because of that dualism
and all the steroids.
Yeah,
that's true about it, because that always bothered me, like the way they Hulkify his character. If you read the actual book, he is like a bigger, kind of grotesque looking guy, but he's really more of like a serial killer kind of vibe to him.
I think
there've been so many different takes on the Hulk.
Yeah,
you had like the gray dude who was like a fucking fixer in Vegas. You had I will say, if you've never, I like the Hulk. I kind of grew up with the Ferrigno show, the Bill Bixby show.
Yeah.
You know, the walking away piano music will like be stitched into my heart forever. But I would have to say, in all of that time, there's one episode, like one issue of the Hulk that was like an annual where it was this like hero for the day. And it was some sort of futuristic apocalyptic landscape that Hulk gets transported to. And it's just all these dudes run around murdering people, and whoever gets the most kills is the hero for the day. And I really like that story. I wish I could find a copy of that again because I haven't read it since I was a little kid. It just really stuck with me. And then the more recent, I think Al Ewing wrote it, the Immortal Hulk is fucking fire.
Yeah.
It is really good.
If you want it like an exploration of horror, of mental illness, because that's a big thing for Hulk, is trying to deal with his past.
Sure, yeah.
Next level mental illness, cosmic horror,
the
how the universe will end. Like it's all in the series. It's fucking
part of it too is, you know, we create the Hulk to be a very sympathetic character. You're supposed to sympathize with him in the audience.
Not so much with
Hyde. Go a
Not so
slightly
much with
different direction with what I'm calling Shadow Brain. So here's my description. And by the way, I don't know if these guys are, well, I don't know if this is true for you guys, but like all these ideas for me, I'm releasing them out into the public domain. So if you're listening to this and you like think that there's really a story here and you can do something with it, by all the fucking means, go ahead, please. Take my ideas, because I'm not going to do it. I'm not invested. Like I've already got my fingers in too many other fucking pies.
Subscribe to the Patreon.
Yes.
All right. So 2086. Dr. Henry Jekyll has worked diligently to maintain his position as head of development at the Janus Corporation, the largest tech firm in the Allied corporate nations. People are tearing each other in the streets below over what? Drugs, VR, sex doll androids? No, Henry knows that he's gotten everything he has through a life of hard work and moderation. He only takes a Braxine when the job calls for it, which has been a lot more lately. But when the board finds out that he's been getting it from an unlicensed pharmacist, they have him over a barrel. As punishment, Jekyll will become the first human subject of his team's latest scientific development, Project Shadow, a cranial implant that connects the subject's mind directly to the internet. The Shadow will be an AI copy of his brain that manages the flow of data. Now Jekyll has another voice in his head. That voice is his own, but it's telling him things he doesn't want to hear. Things about the world below. Things about Janus. Things about himself. It's given himself a name. Hyde. Okay.
3 seasons in a movie.
Hold on. I'm not quite done. Okay. Right. A voice is manageable. But when Jekyll begins to lose time, he starts to worry. When the media turns its gauge to a vigilante hacker with an untraceable identity who also goes by the mononym Hyde, he begins to sweat.
Uh-oh.
And when corporate auditor Bioroid Gabriel begins obsessively poring through the dev department's financial records to find some misplaced funds, he begins to panic. So,
dude, this ain't a dust jacket. That's the whole book.
That honestly was my trouble too when I was writing these. I was like, nope, stop getting into the plot. Just give them a little taste.
Yeah. No, that's a good one. I like that.
Yeah. No, for sure.
See, that's the kind of shit that you can do. Like the only time I've ever seen like an interpretation of Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde was that one movie with what's his face, where it was no, it was through the point of view of his maid, who he's like romantic.
Mary Riley.
Yeah, it was Mary Riley
with Julia Roberts. It's a good movie.
Yeah, it is actually. Where it kind of makes him more of a Jack the Ripper kind of type, but like,
nice.
But, you know, exactly. I like that shadow.
I would love to see Jekyll and Hyde as like a psychological thriller where it's like Hannibal meets Mindhunter.
I mean, this
where
is
he's
just,
like hunting himself.
It's just fucking Fight Club. Killer. It really is what it is. This is Fight Club.
I'm thinking of okay, Jekyll and Hyde. What about Tango and Cash? Like, you know, see what I'm saying?
Yeah,
so making a buddy cop movie.
Yeah, and also, I mean, there is a lot of potential because there's never really been an inversion of the trope. Hyde's always a bad guy, but like, what if Jekyll was a bad guy?
And Hyde was like, "No, I'm here for corrective reasons."
Yeah. So
I'm gonna put on some Debussy.
Okay. So
Zero, what do you got?
Yeah,
the first one that I laid that I kind of laid down into print here. I'll give the synopsis first, and then I'll kind of give the name at the end, so you can see if you can kind of guess it on the way. But and I'll try not to read this in my best in a world voice. London, 2099. Teleportation and digital immortality have forever changed humankind. If you're one of the lucky few that can afford those things. The rest of the downtrodden population escape the drudgery of existence using a virtual reality dream weaving device called a liminal artificial neural dimension, or a LAND, that allows you to control your dreams. But for some, even a VR dream world where every fantasy can be imitated isn't enough. Kids are disappearing in strange ways, and things are happening in lands that seem to be affecting the real world. Scotland Yard has assigned their best tech crimes detective to investigate, and what she'll uncover is a mind-bending tale of mystery and existential adventure that transcends the bounds of physical reality and explores the digital-human interface. Join Detective Wendy M.A. Darling as she explores NVR_land, uncovering the link between the missing users, the transhumanist hacker collective known as the Lost Boys, the brain pirate Hook, and the infamous cyber terrorist known only as Pan.
There it is.
Give me the video.
Yeah.
There it is.
And that's Deleter Pan, the title.
God damn, I love that.
That's good shit.
Man.
No, that's really good shit. You know,
read
a
the
buddy
fuck
of mine
out
and
of
I, not that long ago, he had this idea of like
That's
adapting.
the next big teen dystopia right there.
Right? Yeah, it was very YA. And I told you the voice is like Scholastic Book Fair blurb.
Yeah.
Sorry, what were you saying, Cornups?
No, a buddy of mine a little while ago, we were talking about it and we kind of put it down, but like it's still in the back of my head. He was thinking about doing Peter and Wendy, like the original like text, I guess, of Peter Pan.
Yeah.
It's the restored text version of it or something like that. And
because for the longest time the text version was in the public domain, and it took almost like a decade or two for the play to be in the public domain.
Yeah. Oh well, God, one of these works was I can't. All Quiet on the Western Front is in the public domain, but only the German edition. So like the American edition is still tied up because there's just that movie on fucking Netflix. Somebody's paying for it.
Yeah.
It's not a global, like it is a global thing, but it's not a global thing because we're so fucking cordoned off from everybody. You know what I mean?
It can be different depending on the court you bring it to, especially if that court is in the United States.
And also the United States is like the hub for at least a good percentage of the entertainment.
Global cultural entertainment export, baby. Yeah.
It's nothing compared to India's movie scene. Nothing.
Oh, yeah.
Hollywood is like a speck. Like, that's why they try so hard to appeal to like China.
Yeah.
They're always filming extra scenes and editing certain words out and changing the endings and stuff like that because they know there's like a billion fucking people there.
Yeah.
They don't make shit. Uh-oh, Scum went offline.
Oh, wait. Okay, he's back.
Scum, are you back?
Hey, what?
Scum?
Hello?
Check 1, 2.
Are you there?
All right, so...
Hello.
Hi.
There we go.
Okay.
What happened? Shit.
My power flickered.
Oh, shit.
Oh, fuck. Okay.
Well, hey, your file's still going, so you're good.
The mouse is coming for you.
Yeah, no, it's been real bad outside. I didn't want to say anything.
No, it's okay. It's okay. All right. All right.
No, Leo, we're leaving this in.
Okay.
Okay, whose turn? Who goes?
Oh, okay. All right. I got one. So there's this novel called Decline and Fall by L0WL1F3.
That sounds cool.
I should let you know that Evelyn is a guy. And the reason, like, I thought that kind of initially because it just reminded me of News Radio because Phil Hartman's characters, they kept, his first name was like Evelyn.
Yeah, a little. It's like a boy named Sue kind of situation, which I appreciate.
But Phil Hartman kept correcting them. He'd be like, "It's Evelyn." But this guy was like British, like fucking secure. I'm sorry, he was like a spy in World War One, and he wrote these scathing comedies, and like the end of his life is kind of not great for him. Like it just, I don't know. He's politically turned. It was like very dark for him in his last few years. But anyway, he wrote this book, and just the gist of the opening of it was enough for me to be like, "Oh, there's something here." So this young socialite gets caught up with like a wealthier fraternity's prank, and he kind of gets left holding the bag, like he gets expelled.
Ooh.
All right, and he's also kind of like, wealthy, but he defaults on his inheritance because he gets kicked out of school.
Yeah, that's like something from like back then where it's like this is like a familial thing getting into this university if you're wealthy.
Yeah. Well,
like
but there's still things that you got to do. You know what I mean? Like that you have to, in order for him to get his inheritance, he has to get this degree. He has to become a professor at this
It's a bigger thing than it is now, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, what happens is that he's forced to take a job teaching at an obscure private school where the rest of the teachers are also fuck ups. And I'm like, that's
It sounds amazing.
Decline and Fall sounds awesome. I'm gonna have to read this book. You know,
I could also see it being morphed into like he has to go teach in a school that's just weird, you know? Like maybe there's something ominous happening in the background that just never, you know?
Oh yeah, I know there's some like
American Horror Story meets Harry
The
Potter
school
kind of deal.
from, or maybe
neither of those things.
maybe more the school, the
Fuck Harry Potter.
SKOOL.
I don't know what you got against making money.
They both suck. Like I'm
I was
sorry,
thinking
they
more-
just.
I was thinking
First
more
of
on the
all,
line.
Yeah,
of,
I
like,
know.
Don't
I know
interrupt
they-
me on
they
this.
suck.
I hate fantasy. First,
I know they
Let
suck,
me
but
just
they
get
make the
this
money.
out there. I have to say that
Yeah, you're the guy who made a mech out of a golem because
I hate
you needed
fantasy
to
so
have
much.
you needed to have a mech.
Yeah, I put a halfling in a basket on his back to control him.
No, I was thinking more along the lines of like Suspiria than anything
yeah.
else.
What wasn't there? What was it like?
How-
Fucking, I was thinking even like Invader Zim, like all the
my
Yeah, I was
teachers
gonna
were
say,
weird
I was
there.
gonna say the school from Invader Zim.
Oh my god, yes.
Right?
Please
Yeah.
give that to
Oh
me.
man, we need to talk about Invader. Oh, like I've
No.
had
Oh.
an article.
Okay.
I've
I
had
mean-
an article in the barrel for a long time on Invader Zim. I really need to talk about it. I
Well,
need
Johnny the Homicidal Maniac, we need to talk about at
Oh,
some
absolutely.
point too, because that shit's
Oh, man.
hilarious.
Oh,
If you're
man.
throwing it back to
Oh,
that,
so
and you're
fucking
talking
good.
about the school with the weird teachers, how about the faculty?
Yep.
Yo.
or
That's
or
the treatment.
Class of 1999.
Yeah.
Or even
Oh,
wet,
man, cool.
wet, hot American summer.
Oh god.
Can you
It could
imagine?
be. It could really be just a combination of everything. Honestly,
I want it.
Honest to God, if you guys haven't seen White Noise on Netflix, that's I'm modeling that a little bit on it. You know,
Yeah.
the teachers all have these very peculiar specialties.
Now
One of them is
I'm
an expert on Elvis. One of them is an expert on Hitler, and they all like hang out together and just talk about how they're experts on these things. It's fucking great.
all I'm thinking of now is just all of these things you fucking mentioned, but in the weird like mid-Atlantic, like 1920s, like mid-Atlantic accent of like the 1920s.
Yeah, the transatlantic.
Okay.
Yeah, the transatlantic, mid-Atlantic.
Mid-Atlantic,
What does that sound like?
Trans-Siberian, what?
I would assume like Rapture, the people in Rapture.
We all just talk through our nose and really quickly. You know,
Yeah. Except it's white hot. What was it? Wet hot American
Wet Hot
summer.
American
But it's that.
I would like to see someone with the transatlantic accent do that scene Paul Rudd does, where Janine Garofalo tells him to. He like knocks his fucking food tray onto the floor, and she's like, "Pick that up."
Pick it up.
And he just does this, the brattiest physical acting. Yeah, the huffing and the puffing and the picking up one piece and reaching down real dramatically to pick it up. It's so fucking funny. Oh my god,
Beautiful
Very-
piece of work. Physical comedy.
That sounds
did he
great.
learn from the millennials? Is that how that happened?
What? What?
Did he study us?
I don't know.
Who the fuck knows?
That I knew dudes like that in like 78,
Mhm.
Oh shit! Yeah.
81. You know what I mean? There's always that kid that was just like too dramatic for his own fucking good.
Yeah.
So who? Wait, repeat the book again so someone could
It's
find it.
called Decline and Fall by Evelyn, Evelyn, Law, Waugh. You know, like the orcs in 40K.
Wow.
Anyway,
Awesome.
Decline
Nice.
and Fall with more DACA. Scum.
Oh, I have my second one because I'm a big Buster Keaton fan, and this one entered the public domain, so I actually got to watch it. Was The Cameraman,
Oh shit.
which I might do a Buster Keaton episode just because we wouldn't have like certain types of comedy or action films without Buster Keaton.
Man was wild.
The man was like, and a lot of like corporate fuckery in his life too. Like
Yeah.
Hollywood is a fuck. That's big. But The Cameraman is basically a comedy where you have this like guy who is poor. He's just a dude. He's Buster Keaton because every character he plays is just Buster Keaton.
Yeah.
Character actor.
Yeah, like making tintypes, which is like an early form of photography that like chemically puts on a photo into like a piece of tin on the street for like 10 cents. And he sees it's basically like it's a romance comedy, right? He sees a beautiful girl, wants to talk to him, fucks it up because everything in the world is kind of preventing him from doing this.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just how do you describe the way he moves? This film came out in 1920 in like the early, like 1928,
right?
Yeah. And you could just turn all the sound off and it's fucking hilarious. just because of how he moves, his facial expression. Because again, there's no talking. It's a silent film.
Was Keaton the one that had like in one of his films, like the side of a building falls and he happens to be standing
that was
right in
That was
it?
actually after this. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
That is still one of the greatest fucking moments of
was it
trust
before?
I've ever seen.
Yeah.
I think it was before this actually that happened, because it was like his entire crew was like, Mr. Keaton, we would really like it if our meal ticket didn't kill himself in front of us.
He's like, wait, I'm going to go hang off the arm of this clock real quick.
He hangs
above
off like
traffic
this
with no net.
So him and this girl, they finally get on a date because he has to like crack his piggy bank open, which is all dimes. So he has just pockets full of dimes. He goes finally on a date. They get in a bus. Another crowd shows up. So he ends up on top, and she ends up because it's a double decker. She ends up on the bottom. He ends up on top. Not a great start to the date.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, the normal human thing to do is to climb the side of it while it's in motion.
Of course.
With no, wires or anything like that, because, this is 1928. That hasn't been invented yet. Safety hasn't been invented yet.
Yeah, they teach you that in junior high. This is normal.
Yeah. So he just climbs the side of this bus and just like hangs out his butt right under the wheel and just hangs on with his arms as if they're inside. He crosses his legs.
Nice.
And it's fucking hilarious. It's just a cop sees him on the way and he's like, what the actual fuck? Like, this is a
What's
film.
your routine for core strength, sir?
Exactly. Like, this is one of those.
I'm not even sure there's a crime here.
I picked this one not just because I like Buster Keaton, but because I don't know how you would ever be able to do something like this today and give it the same respect. I know they were supposed to make like a Buster Keaton movie, but the idea is, well, if you're using like nets and wires and shit, then it's not.
I got one name for you. Jackie Chan.
Yeah, you could.
That's literally like the closest thing that we've ever fucking seen to this.
I think that it would be the closest in our lifetimes to seeing it, because today, if you were to try and do the cameraman, there would be like CGI and shit, and like, I'm not saying
they were good.
Yeah, that's true.
I'm seeing a huge return to practical effects that is really fucking cool.
Oh man,
True.
Yeah,
I don't think.
Practical
We'll get
effects,
into
and
this
not just that, but the marriage of practical effects and CGI. We're actually finally fucking seeing that.
Well, it looks like it's in the room. It doesn't have that like
fucking
3 centimeter levitation shit like back in the ould Prequels days. You know,
I definitely think that we wouldn't have because he was an incredible comedian his entire life. I'm not going to get too much into his life because I do want to do an episode on it, but I don't think we would have The Raid without Buster Keaton.
No.
Weirdly enough,
I can see that. Holy shit!
I don't think we could have that level of physicality of just fucking doing it, because
fucking draw a line straight from The Raid through Jackie Chan to Buster Keaton. I mean,
it's insane. Like, there's so much that could be
John Wick, like all of this new, very acrobatic. Even The Matrix to a certain degree.
Exactly. Like, this is a film I don't know you would be able to, because a lot of Buster Keaton's films, it's like, well, how would you do it if you're not at risk of actual death? But it's worth a watch. It's important to watch, to see you can make the through line in your brain of what we have now that could not exist without this film.
Yeah.
Also, it's funny as fuck.
Oh yeah. No. Everybody look. If you don't like pratfalls and slapstick, you gotta light that fire inside you, because it's a craft, and it's very difficult. Like Three Stooges wasn't really my thing as much as say like Abbott and Costello. I was way more into Abbott and Costello.
This is a silent film.
I think that's for me, silent film is difficult to get into because of all that physicality. I think that's just part of me as a person. I think that's my.
Oh yeah.
Because I don't read body language super well, but
and when it's super exaggerated and heightened.
Yeah, and that irks me.
It's like screaming.
Yeah, pretty much. So they're screaming at you with their gestures the entire time. But but I do admit there are good ways to do slapstick and there are bad ways to do it. And I think that, the 1920s did see a lot of bad slapstick, but kind of the same way that we still see really schlocky, shitty Hollywood comedies today.
Yeah, no, it's Sturgeon's Law, man. Everything, everything. 90% of it, 95% of it, it's shit. The 5% is what you fucking live for. And it's different for everybody.
Yeah, there's
You know?
shots in the cameraman that you would think they made today of like, because thinking about the type of camera they were using at that time
Oh, sure.
to film, how did you do that? Did you chop the building in half and just follow it down the staircase? Because there's a scene where he just runs down the stairs, and I'm like, would you go through the floor? Which they probably did. They might have just built a set. Like,
yeah, because they're not. It's not a. Oh man,
I've actually seen a documentary somewhere about the set construction for some of his stuff. And
So
it's just
many fucking
amazing.
sets.
It's like almost like MC Escher's building the shit.
yes,
that's fucking insane.
Yes.
I mean, God damn it! Like even Hitchcock has that one shot in Rebecca at the end when the house is on fire, where the camera pushes into the room, and I'm like, how is the film not burning?
See, I sometimes
In
don't
the
think
camera.
about that. But yeah, there's a direct through line from that to the Raid 2 with that fucking shot where they disguise the guy as a fucking car seat. That's that's brilliant.
It's insane. That is. Oh man,
absolutely,
Ugh.
absolutely.
It was a magical shot too. Like it looks so good.
yeah.
it's almost
you're
my
right
favorite
there.
shot, if not for that car scene in Children of Men.
Yes,
That
absolutely.
one is batshit.
Mhm.
But
Oh yeah, yeah.
you
Oh,
can't
man.
you can't take anything away from the
And
movie.
then
Oh, go ahead.
the what are they called? These like continuous scenes. These like 10-minute long scenes. Like
continuous
scenes.
shot, single
Oh
shot.
my
yeah.
god, yes.
Man,
Like that one in,
the lengths
fuck-
that they're going to these days are
Amazing.
crazy. Like
Oh.
what happened? There was a movie that came out somewhat recently that had a 20-minute continuous shot action scene. I
Yeah.
don't remember which one it was.
I'll say if you haven't seen, I think it's called Victoria. It's a
I was going
German
to say the
film.
Vast of Night.
No.
Oh, the Vast of Night has some excellent, beautiful,
Yeah.
long tracking
Yeah.
shots. That movie's
Yeah.
gorgeous. But check out Victoria. It's just batshit. It's a single shot for 2 hours,
Oh yeah, yeah. No, there are some.
and it's
Mother
you can
does
see-
that.
there's a moment. There's one fucking little hiccup where they're handing off a camera in Victoria, and it's the only time you even think to yourself, "Holy shit, this has been a single shot."
Yeah,
I love that stuff. It's so fucking hard. Russian art.
yeah. Because
Fuck.
I don't notice a lot of that cinematography a lot as well.
It also, here's the thing: they're not using film anymore. You can just slap a big fucking memory
Yeah.
chip in it and
Mhm.
just go for it. And then,
Yeah.
fuck, that didn't work out. All right, we'll reset it.
Reset,
tomorrow
everybody.
at the
Yeah,
same
this
time.
this isn't Rope, where it was
Yeah.
an hour and a half of like, I mean, pretty well hidden cuts, but otherwise, like it did
Well,
all right, I
that's
guess.
I love that shit too. I mean, I love a long shot if it
Other than
matters.
Alfred Hitchcock, I don't like that he was involved, but
Yeah,
Who's got another property? Who's got another treatment?
Yeah.
I
Who's
think
next?
it's fine.
Yeah.
Hold on. Okay, so my next one is called Death Count, which is based on The Count of Monte Cristo.
fuck yeah.
Noise.
All right.
Oh, fuck. That entered the public domain. Oh, yeah. It's been in the public domain. I thought that There
Sorry, yeah,
was-
we should,
So
No,
happy.
not the
we
movie.
should
dude.
specify, not this year necessarily, but
Oh.
Yeah, not the epic Jim Caviezel film.
Yeah, the original by not Victor Hugo, the other guy.
Dumas.
Yes,
Andre
Alexander
Dumas, yeah.
Dumas.
It's a good fucking book.
yeah, it's
well,
a giant
it-
book too.
I mean,
The
yeah.
unabridged version. It was written in a time where he got paid to keep the serial going,
Uh-huh.
and it's all really. I've read the unabridged version one summer, and it's really interesting. But it's all like how much of this could just and did get left on the cutting room floor. Like,
Yeah,
like really.
Yeah.
The only book like that I've ever read and loved was fucking Madame Bovary.
Okay, yeah.
wasn't prepared to like that book either.
A lot
I
of
was just like,
Dickens is like that too.
yeah. Oh, he was definitely.
Mm-hmm.
there's
Talk about padded-
there's some
padding.
stuff in the Count of Monte Cristo that obviously hasn't aged super well, like how it treats
Well, no, but it's.
He kind of has a
Uh,
slave
humanity.
girl. That's his
Yeah.
property.
yeah.
I'm not making
Yeah,
any
it's weird.
excuses for it, but it is a work
But
of
this
its
is
time.
the first,
It
and
gets
it's the
weird.
first ever
Yeah.
like revenge story.
Yes.
that was
Yeah.
put into print. I think. Not the first one.
No, because
but-
it literally ends with him like, you know what? I'm richer than God, and then just fucks off with the love of his life. And that's
yeah,
how
he
it ends.
literally he sails off into the sunset, and that's where I think that's where a lot of westerns got.
I wouldn't call it the first revenge story, given the existence of like.
I
the
wouldn't
Bible.
I wouldn't say the first ever, but like the first one put into print,
Like a
as,
serialized
fiction.
revenge
as
tale.
like entertainment. Yeah,
Yeah, as genre fiction.
There you go.
I got you.
Yes,
I
it's
got
the
you.
first like revenge novel.
Swashbuckling.
Hit us with it. Because the title's already great.
All right. Here's my pitch. Death count. Ed Dantes has his life made. There's a pattern here. He's got health insurance, an apartment in the swankiest mega tower in Marseille, a girl he's going to marry. He has a future in a city where many people don't. But all of that is ripped away when he unintentionally releases malicious AI Bonaparte from an isolated server on what he thought was a routine assignment in the slums. To cover their own asses, Farron... oh shit, I cut that out. Farron, his employer, breaks Dantes' contract and turns him into the policy breach authority as a cyber criminal. He doesn't have a chance. His final destination is U-House, an inescapable panopticon on a desolate island. And there's no worse for a corporate cop to end up. But no matter how beaten to a pulp, the newly christened Eddie D gets in prison. As long as he still breathes, he will get out and revisit this abuse upon those who put him there tenfold. This rage attracts the attention of resident hacker Faria, who was known on the net as Priest. And Priest is in for writing criminals' new identities. After their trust is earned, they arm Eddie with a blank slate and the location of a hard drive containing montecristo.exe, a program that will trick any banking system into giving the user access to infinite funds.
Black card.
When he escapes, Eddie will buy his way into corporate circles and ruin those responsible for his stint in hell. And will he become the very thing he seeks to destroy in the process?
No, good.
I like that's the equivalent of finding like
I like
treasure,
Halloween's
right? Yeah,
gold.
the treasure. Pope.
He also has to invent the greatest sandwich ever made. I want the French toast. I want the ham. I want the Swiss. I want it all. I want that jelly. Anyway,
Excellent sandwich.
Yeah, no, that's good.
I think that there are. I don't know. I feel like the cyberpunk prison drama is severely underutilized as a genre.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
there would be a good act in that. That would be just that. So
yeah, that would be an interesting story.
Oh, what was
Honestly.
it? There was one of the expansions for Deus Ex, Mankind Divided, where you're in a futuristic prison, but it wasn't quite what I wanted it to be.
Was it Super Jail?
Well, it was Super Jail, but there was more rioting that happened very quickly in the story.
it's what you hope for.
Yeah, I was hoping to be like smuggling, neuropozyne to other patients and shit like that.
How would you get it in? Well, up your ass, obviously.
You think these ports are just for show?
All right, Zero, what you got?
Okay, yes, I got another. Again, I'll just hit you with the Scholastic Book Fair blurb, and I'll give you the title at the end, but this one starts out. Rob had everything. Stock investiture, a luxury chalet pod in high orbit, and a junior partnership waiting for him at the optimal conclusion of this labor negotiation at the Gigaplant Earthside. Which is why the rapid, unscheduled disassembly of the rocket had made him so angry. Entirely unexpected and a real inconvenience. One which the pilot and crew had paid for with their lives. Idly, he wondered if he might legally lay a claim on their shares for endangering his life, and pondered if the captain's wife's seniority outranked his own. Stranded now in a radioactive post-climate change hellscape that he and his kind created, Rob must survive to find rescue. It's only after he unwittingly befriends a mutant cannibal low-tech ganger called Fried Dude that he stands a chance at reaching a functional launch facility. For Fried Dude to earn a seat on the escape rocket, he must navigate the unlikely pair from gruesome misunderstanding to horrifying mishap again and again, all the while making Rob feel like he's the one in charge and calling the shots.
Can I guess at the end?
Will the two of them survive the blighted Earth and each other's company long enough to find a way off-world? Will Fried Dude call it a wash and eat his erstwhile friend? Find out in...
Tarzan.
Close. The life and strange, surprising survival of Robertson Cruz Chow of Space Z, the HR manager.
Yeah, you fucked that up, bud. Corn ups. Yeah, huh?
That was close.
Yeah, Fried Dude, Friday. He's a cannibal.
Yeah. I do appreciate, like, That's the thing. It's like, it's funny you brought up Tarzan though, because I would like to see also a non-racist Tarzan, but that was also written by a eugenicist. But
isn't it basically Spider-Man at this point?
I mean, yeah. No, but Robinson Crusoe
exceeds Tarzan.
Having a funny Robinson Crusoe would like. I want to, because I'm like, I want to like, I like the cannibal. Like, fuck this guy.
That's what's so great about these, well-known stories entering the public domain is that you can just tear the shit out of them. Like, you can tear them a new one.
Yeah.
Well, that one. So Robinson Crusoe is based on
the fuck out of them.
Robinson Crusoe is kind of based on a true story of like one of these like true stories from the 17th century, the life and hard adventures of somebody who needs to make a lot of money, but of a guy. So all we really have is his account of the tale, and that was turned into Robinson Crusoe. And I always wondered, it's like, imagine it's like Friday probably kept his ass alive. Like, he's telling us what happened, but I would like to see it like how it really happened, where like instead of him killing Friday's friends, maybe they all boot partied him and Friday felt sorry for him.
It's like a Big Trouble in Little China kind of take, where
took him through the thing. Yeah. Took him through the whole adventure, kept him alive.
But Friday is totally running shit.
Yeah,
exactly. And actually, they did something like this in like '75. Peter O'Toole did a movie with the actor who played Shaft, where it was kind of like a spoof
Richard
of this.
Roundtree?
Yes, a spoof of this of the Robinson Crusoe, like trying to be civilizing to Friday, and Friday not like going with it. It was I didn't see the whole thing, but looked funny the clips I checked out. But anyway, I always wanted to see that kind of role reversal in a comedic way, and I think like a romp across a wasteland, and just you can make a lot of lessons there between the two of them.
Absolutely.
A lot of contrast, almost like a Hell in the Pacific kind of meets Enemy Mine, but it's Robinson Crusoe.
I fucking love Enemy Mine.
Yeah. I'd watch that.
All right. Real quickly, because we're getting a little short on time, because we're doing something different. We're trying to come in under 2 hours per episode now, so that I can post this shit on the YouTubes. So you may or may not be seeing this shit on the YouTubes. I hope.
Other big news. Sorry,
yeah. No, we'll get it all out. Don't worry. It's churning.
Carrying on.
All right. So my last one is it's D.H. Lawrence's Lady Chatterley's Lover. This totally needs to have some sort of cyberpunk exploration. I think mainly because I'm not the one to do it. The way this needs to be handled, it's. You have to understand, it's a horny book. It is a horny book. It wasn't published in the United States for a long time.
So was razor wire pubic hair. It could. You could do it. You could do it.
Sure.
This uses the word cunt like a comma in parts. It's this book was unpublishable in the United States until I want to say like 1960, and it's like
Jesus.
But I read it in college. It was like one of those books that you get assigned, and it just took me because it's a fucking great story. It's really well written, and it's so funny. Like, you don't understand. You won't believe it was written in 1928 because it seems like something that, like, Andrew Dice Clay wishes he had like this level of being able to swear and do shit like sex jokes and stuff. Like, this stuff is fucking off the charts. So anyway, basically, my possible cyberpunk take. It's where Constance, who is Lady Chatterley, and her husband Clifford. Book starts. They're both really bigoted against cyborgs and shit. They don't see them as pure, like they're others. You know what I mean? And then he goes off to war and he's injured, and his like entire lower half just doesn't work anymore. So they just lop it off and they give him robot legs, except they don't work because they're constantly glitching, and he ain't got no dick no more. So she goes to their mechanic.
Is it in the shop?
She doesn't like what's on offer. Let's put it that way. It's just, she's like, I could do that myself. You know what I mean? Like, and anyway, she meets their mechanic Mellors, and then they fuck.
As you do.
But I mean, she's doing it for like extremely like bigoted reasons, as opposed to like in the book, it's just more like my needs aren't being met kind of thing. It's a lot deeper than that. There is like, because Clifford's not a good guy. Like, he's kind of a dick.
There's like a debasement issue to it, isn't there?
Kind of, yeah. And there's a class exploration.
Yeah.
Like she's upper crust, and then Mellors is just the gamesman. Like it's a really fun book. It's a lot of. I'm sure there have been tons and tons of letters papers written about it, and I don't read them because I like the book. I'm sorry. Let's go.
Mine's actually just a song, because it's That Old Gang of Mine by Billy Morini and Ad Small.
All right.
It's something it was just something I want to hear sampled into something, because it's
I'll work on
that old gang of mine, missing a neighborhood, wanting to go back and see the old gang and whatnot. And I know that can be made very funny and pretty badass just with that alone. Yeah.
So whoever did that 55 Wubs remix should do that.
Oh my god, yes. But the point is, like, there's music now. There's quite a lot of music in the public domain that you don't have to feel bad about sampling. There are music that people sample even without permission now.
They're no longer wax cylinder recordings. we've moved into the old 78 fucking platters that would shatter if you dropped them.
Yes. Those now they are preciously archived for your perusement and use.
God, I wish I still had I have a turntable now that my brother gave me that it's an old Newmark Twin T X1 that actually plays 78s, and we had this World War II propaganda stack, and one of them was I'd like to slap a dirty little Japanese person. Let's say,
spicy.
Yeah, it was not great. It's not a good song. You can look it up on YouTube and you'll regret it.
It's upsetting. Yeah, it's really upsetting.
Yeah, man, I remember seeing some Bugs Bunny cartoons when I was a kid that I was like, that's not right. I knew that was right.
Dude, even
Hitler sucks, but what's this other shit?
Yeah, there's some more recent shit too. Even that just not aging well. We're all problematic. We're all problematic.
It's almost like a lot of stuff the Big D did isn't great.
Yeah,
maybe don't have heroes.
Maybe yes, that's.
Good advice.
Good advice. Very good.
Am I going to find a rat head in my pillowcase now?
I don't know where he'll pop up, man.
I got
Frozen head says maybe.
I got stuff I can say about that.
All right, what do we got? Shadow?
All right. So my last one is called In the Red, which is based on The Mask of the Red Death by Edgar Allan Poe.
Wait,
because if there is any fucking time that we could use a cyberpunk adaptation of this,
any adaptation needs to be adapted.
Did you guys see it? Follow the House of Usher?
Oh no, not yet.
Yo, their Mask of the Red Death episode is pretty fucking fire.
It's rough.
It's a lot, and it also has a new remix of Closer.
That's right. Yeah.
You should watch that shit. You can watch that shit aside from everything else.
I may have to get.
I just want to see
somehow.
More. What'd you say?
I just don't have Netflix right now.
Yeah, neither do I.
Pirate. I mean, Blackbeard. I mean, that's in the public domain, right?
All right. Okay. So, In the Red. It's a troubling time. The economy is in another recession. There's another super virus going around. There's another fascist president, although this one's an android, so that's progressive, right? Jobs and food are running out. It feels like the end of the world all over again, so why not throw a party? The gifted and talented individuals of the elite class have been cloistered too long in their homes, interacting only in VR in fear of the rabid masses. But Jeffrey, a.k.a. Prince Prospero, thinks it's time for them to come out of their shells and live like there's no tomorrow from the safety of his penthouse smart mansion Prospero Corp Mega Tower, guarded 24/7 by state-of-the-art security, of course. With 1,000 of his closest friends, he will live in debauchery until human life ceases to exist. Whenever that is. Or until the hacker group, known only as Red Death, penetrates Prospero Corp's impenetrable security and locks the doors.
I didn't know this was about Mark Zuckerberg.
Keep going. What happens next? Oh, sorry.
No.
I like it.
Got it.
I like it. That's what makes it fun.
Yep. There is so much Poe that needs any treatment. It needs he wrote such good stories.
Not like starring Poe.
Right.
No,
Give
yeah,
us-
yes. Oh my God! Please stop putting
Yes.
Edgar Allan Poe himself into things. Dude, he has so
Like-
many detective stories.
Actually,
so
he
many.
was kind of look. He's one of the things I really did
I mean, he
like
did
about
have
the
a
Altered Carbon
very
TV show.
interesting life,
He did.
but
I like that he was
Yeah.
the hotel or whatever.
yeah,
Yeah,
Yeah.
that was pretty cool.
That
Well,
was
that
one of the
actor
redeeming
did a
things
good
about the
job.
show.
yeah.
That was one of the
I
redeeming
liked him
things.
in the first season, the second season where they
I didn't
went
get that
with
far.
that
I didn't even get to the end of the first season.
Mm.
Yeah.
It had
Yeah,
some really
you
cool
know what?
shit in it.
You probably jumped ship like at
I
a
like
good
Joel
time.
Kinnaman.
because-
That's the
First
thing.
season solid. I'll say the first season
man, Joel
solid.
Kinnaman really is
Without
the best part of
getting
that
off
show.
I like
Talk about
the
it too much.
anyway. Yeah, anyway. So good shit. You're right. More
Different
Poe.
episode.
Boom. Who's last?
Yeah,
So
Wait,
Zero.
Yeah,
I've got
Zero.
one more.
Right.
Yeah.
And this one, I'll just give the title up front. I went with Three Penny Opera because Three Penny Opera
Yeah.
kind of already has a history of adaptations.
Mhm.
It's based on the Beggar's Ballad. It's like a picaresque romance from the 17th century, like a play in 3 acts kind of thing. And then in the 20s, a German group did a musical treatment of it, and that's the one that has recently entered into the public domain.
Okay.
So I figured as a musical treatment, I would kind of like do something that's in the vein of like Repo the Genetic Opera, but more like 8 Mile meets Streets of Fire.
Okay.
So,
Okay.
Again,
Okay. You know what?
here's my elevator pitch. Mac the RZA. Just like that. Mac the RZA. Mac the Knife.
Say less. You win.
Is an underground rip-hop artist in future London where freedom of speech and the arts are strictly regulated. Any media not dubbed pop by the state control boards is subversive and therefore illegal and punishable by jail or death.
It sounds like Imagine Dragons.
Mac the RZA fans... Mac the RZA fans are mostly young, reckless hype gangers like he had been before the war, or a lot of broke-down cyborg army vets like he was after the war. But his biggest fan has to be the best friend from his army days, Sergeant Jackie Tiger Brown of the Vice Squad, who keeps Mac one step ahead of the state media police. Everything is gold and gravy for Mac. That is until he falls for pop idol Polly Peachum. The beautiful and seemingly perfect megastar reveals that she exists in a virtual prison, a contract slave to Omnibiz, the showbiz entertainment company.
Nope, Showtunes. Showtunes Business Company.
Better.
I want
Yeah.
a Showtunes business company. Okay, edit in the moment. I love it.
The two musicians plan to elope, but not before Omnibiz discovers the plan and hatches a scheme to get Mac imprisoned and executed. A heartfelt musical treatment of rebellion, defiance, love, and danger in a gritty, high-stakes corpo noir future.
Give this
I love
man
that.
$6 million. Make me this film.
And that's
We're dragging the fuck out of it, and somehow,
Oh man.
that's
somehow Dolph Lundgren needs to be in it.
3 milli opera.
And man, that is
Fuck. Yeah, that'd be
I love
great.
it. Cut.
3 milli opera, baby.
We got it.
I heard the music in the background.
This is what makes us rich, you guys.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
I'm telling you.
So yeah, if you're listening, Netflix, Paramount, where's the list?
All
Disney.
of
If you're listening, yeah, just get in touch.
Yeah. This is a relatively cheap alternative.
fuck, we should have, I don't know, like a different channel in the Discord that's just workshopping this shit.
Yeah, that would be actually pretty cool.
Actually, make that put like bad
I do have
idea-
to say, like,
do the bad idea workshop. And
anything is better than Repo the Genetic Opera.
I like Repo.
I love
know,
the
what's
idea
that?
of Repo.
Wasn't Ogre in it?
Yeah, he wasn't.
Man.
I have no problems with Repo the Genetic Opera.
I love it for what it is. I know a lot of people don't like it.
Fucking goofy.
Yeah, but I mean, that doesn't stop me from loving a
that's the
thing
charm,
before.
right? Yeah, that and just Repo Man was man.
Yeah.
The only thing
Jude
with
Law
that
movie?
title-
Yeah. Of all of the
The Jude
Repo
Law.
movies, that's the only one I've seen. I've never even seen Repo Man, like the old one with.
We might do that. We maybe we'll do that as
The
one
well.
Jude
with the
Law one
truck.
was solid.
Yeah.
And I think
Yeah.
RZA
That
was
was
in
that
that.
one's
Actually.
that's the only
Yeah,
good
Forrest Whitaker in it. He's badass. I love him.
It's
He's
Stan in
a guy
it.
you love to see.
And again, I think
Yeah.
RZA's in that.
Yeah. Now we got to see the one with the like glowing car. Like,
I have
that-
never seen that
That's
movie.
the only good one.
Yeah,
in
we
my
gotta,
opinion.
we would have to see that Repo.
Mhm. Oh man,
It is a very punk film.
It is.
Yeah, sure.
To kind of like pull it back to the mouse and Steamboat Willie in particular, that it has been done before that he was parodied and nothing really happened about it, but I thought it's worth mentioning. In like 1968, there was a 30-second short of like the mouse, excuse me, the mouse goes to Vietnam and like basically like he gets there, he steps off the boat and he gets like killed. It's a 30-second short, or something like a 30-second short that was released, and Disney really didn't do anything about it because they didn't want to draw any attention to it, and I guess nothing sort of happened to it. But
well, they had like.
Well, they never did anything about Bambi meets Godzilla either.
Yeah, same thing. Yeah. If I was going to do it, I would put Steamboat Willie in like Apocalypse Now, going up the riverboat, like psychological drama, horror of war.
Wait, I got
the characters.
I just wanted some mangoes. Never get off the boat.
You said it, Willie.
There it
Never
is.
get off
There
the
you go.
goddamn boat. You said it, Willie.
Oh man, who plays Colonel Kurtz in that?
Well, Steamboat Pete, obviously.
Yeah. Same shape.
Yeah, I mean,
Kurtz got off the boat.
The horror.
Jesus fucking Christ,
That's really good. You've been watching a lot
that
of
was
those.
really good. Yeah,
I told you I watched that shit. Because we were talking about, since we have a couple minutes left here, we were trying to spitball like how would you like. And I'm like, look, I've watched that thing a bunch of times. I watched some clever dude like overdub it and turn it into this like, what the fuck are you talking about? You know, like it's really good, but it's just like,
yeah, it's just a shit post, really.
yeah. I mean, I think the best thing you can do with Steamboat Willie is just shitpost with it. I think the fact that they're trying to make a horror movie out of it's stupid.
Yeah,
I like
it
the
is.
first
I thought
person
that was
shooter.
dumb. I
That
wanted to
seems
talk-
pretty cool.
I want to talk
Yes.
about that too. It was just when they said like, "Oh, horror movie," I'm like, "Oh, genius!" Like, really? Come on,
It
it's
happened
just
last time.
I
low
mean,
hanging
come on.
Pooh.
I want to see. I want to see
It's so
Steamboat
fucking
Willie
awful.
deliver a boat full of
If
migrants
you're going to talk
safely
about any
to the shore.
horror, really, you should talk about the horror of Disney, like through the mouse, just eating all media. Like
Yeah.
we're getting to that point, and this is our only fucking recourse of action at this point. Like we can't
the scraps and take
fight
it,
them.
you know.
Well, we can't. Yeah, we can't like actually openly fight them. We can't sue them or anything.
well, I agree.
So-
I agree with Zero to make like I like your interpretation of like him helping out immigrants. I do like that idea where it's like that does defang this horrible corporate machine. I think the reason it's been this has been like the big year in public domain is because of like not the insult, because there's history in this, like the whole thing with Sonny Bono wanting like copyright to be infinite and shit and like shit like that. Well, fuck Sonny Bono, but like the point is like this is kind of like a chip in that Disney's stranglehold on media, and that's why
It's like the first appearance of their most iconic character.
and they
And
have
somehow
to
we're allowed to play with this. What the fuck? Now there's still grounds for them to sue you over this.
They're gonna
Oh,
they're
absolutely.
lobbying real hard. Yeah,
Make no
Yeah.
mistake. If you do something
Yeah.
they don't like with it,
Yeah.
no, they will
Yeah.
have no.
Yeah,
no
Here's
qualms
what you
about
do.
suing
Here's what you do. You get Tom Hanks to back an animation of him running one of them fucking boats into Normandy.
There
That's
you
it.
go.
Done. It's like 15, 20 seconds long because everybody gets turned into fucking puddle.
I'm bleeding out on the beach. Oh.
Yeah, I mean, like
I'm not getting any closer.
my whole,
Stop moving, haha.
my whole opinion on this is that I think that copyright does need to exist in some form. I think it has a place, and then there's a bigger discussion we could have about that. But like,
I mean, the ideal situation.
But the way that it works is it's the transfer of funds. You shouldn't be able to sell the rights to something that you created.
Here's the thing. It's one thing if you have a copyright on something as an artist, right? As a writer. I know plenty of writers, it's one thing if you have it. It's another thing when a megalithic fucking, more money than God company has a copyright, and it's like, you this is our money maker, but it's like, but you have so much money.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. And the irony of it is that like it's all just going to fucking like shareholders and bonuses.
Yeah,
like,
that's it.
You look at how much money they're spending on these movies that look like dog shit.
Yeah.
It's there's just something going on there where I'm like, it seems like money laundering because because we saw what $80 million can get you with the creator, and then we also saw what $13 million can get you with fucking Godzilla -1.
Yeah, Godzilla.
It's a
Godzilla.
stunning film.
Yeah.
Like it's really
Which is-
like what?
That's already been like what $1 billion like
It's made
franchise.
its money back and then some.
Yeah.
It's gone around the world. It's because it's fucking good. You know, like it's what you can do with these things, because it's a take on the first one. You know, it's a redo. It's kind of like Shin Godzilla. It's a reimagining of the origin.
Sure.
You know,
Yeah.
and that's what you can do with these things to tie it all together.
Yeah.
We have all these like properties that are very old, and you might have to read ancillary material. Like you read the book, like what the fuck is this word? You might have to look it up. You might have to look up what's going on at the time. You know, when this is set, because like it's a good way to get into history, because the stories are interesting. It's better than a dry text.
Yeah.
You can go to the dry text later to get the meat, but you know, to be immersed in the description of a time by a person who's there is going to pull things out of your brain for you to map onto these things so it makes sense to you. And that's where like these things can be reimagined however you decide to go with it. Like Shadowling said, steal this shit. That's the whole point of this episode. We're just trying to like be like, hey, there's a whole pool of fucking material here.
Yeah.
Don't try to remake it.
Well,
Take it and sit with it and then make something. You know what I mean? Like internalize this shit. It's ours now. We get it. It's ours.
Listen, everybody's creative process works like a different way. And
100%.
sometimes you can make a really good thing. Well, that's why I work within the context of cyberpunk, because that's something that I understand. I understand like the noir plot format. And so everybody needs kind of like a leg up in some ways. And if you give people access to public domain characters and settings that they can just kind of fuck with however they want to, that's how they can express themselves. And it's also great because you can just invert so much of this shit. You can look at something and then you can flip it on its head. Look at like fucking Fables, or The Wolf Among Us. That's based on fairy tale shit. And, got so many inversions of these fairy tale characters. The big bad wolf is the good guy.
Oh, yeah. Scum.
And if nothing else, like the Incredible series devs taught us nearing the end.
Nice.
Don't be like one of these fucks who want to change or make the future and not understand history.
Yeah.
You have to understand, like, I don't know, Shakespeare and where the English language comes from before you want to make the new thing. So don't be like these tech bros who just want to like make the future in this really weird fascist way without understanding where we came from.
And, and that's the thing. Looking at the past, this isn't prophecy. This shit used to be read and applied to the timeline between then and now. How much progress have we made? How much have we regressed? Like what is better? What is worse? Everybody always talks about like, oh, I want to go back to the good old days. Dude, they weren't.
No, they were not.
No.
Dog, I was...
What was H.P. Lovecraft's cat's name?
Yeah.
Zero, what's up?
Hutcha. Just to looking at the past and people have been doing this forever. There's a great a small Burroughs essay. I'm not going to read it because I'm not in art school anymore, but I'll put it in the Discord. But basically, if you heard of it, les voleurs, the thieves. Basically, the big line from it is loot the lure. But the point of it is all art is derivative. Okay, even Picasso was inspired by cave paintings. So
literally
do something with it.
There is nothing original under the sun. And that's what we mean here, because everything is just we're recycling everything else that we've seen, and the only it's what's the word I'm looking for?
What makes it special is that it's yours.
Yeah, exactly.
You are
the only prescription, the only instruction.
It's yours. I've mentioned this before. We had a DJ night where we brought the same, like everybody used the same 10 records. And it was 4 different sets. We all have the same alphabet. Yeah. What are you trying to do? Trying to make wingdings? You're going to try writing wingdings? I'll slap you.
It's not the content. It's
no one would use that for a logo.
It's what you say about it,
right?
Through yourself.
Exactly.
I mean, writing is a bit of a betrayal because you're giving up yourself. You're showing your experience. You're a betrayal to yourself. You know what I mean? Like you're betraying yourself to people. You're portraying yourself. I don't know.
Look at
you know what I'm saying? You're giving yourself away.
any Cronenberg movie. Like,
Yeah. Shit, he's got a new one where you get to that's coming out where you get to watch bodies as they rot in the grave.
oh man, yeah. And how much of this stuff is like
Cool.
derivative from like I was thinking about Crimes of the Future again, and we need to talk about it because it's such a good movie. But
we got to land this plane.
yeah, it
We
is
did.
very much a
Hold on. Zero. Your hand is.
Yeah,
There it
Yeah,
is.
we got. Yeah.
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 Okay.
So yeah, we're still learning the time thing, but we are going to wrap now.
Indeed.
Yes. Good.
So thanks for do these things. Fucking play with this giant toy box that has been given to us and claim other things as well. Look into Negative Land for examples on that. And
Thunderphonics.
oh fuck yeah, make mashups. You know, get ready to fuck with Creative Commons. Let's make noise and stir
Do
it
anything.
up. Yeah.
Yeah.
I
Make
mean,
anything.
Shit,
This
isn't
is the
today
time to
Max?
do it.
Isn't today Max Headroom Day?
Oh shit. Is it?
Yesterday, maybe?
Well, we're recording this on January 9th. I might be wrong. Anyway, so
Yeah.
happy that.
Yes, yeah.
Oh shit! Happy Max Headroom Incident Day.
Happy
God
Max
damn.
Headroom. Woo!
Nobody said that on the Discord. I'm going to say that right now.
There you go. See, why do I remember that?
Goodbye, everybody.
That is a cyberpunk holiday, is what it is.
Indeed. So yeah, check us out. We're check out our Discord. Check out our Patreon. Check out fucking Instagram. You know, for whatever reason, I'm on Blue Sky at CoinOps. Check me out there. I'm having no fun. Well, I'm having fun. I only follow cool people, so it's cool. You know. And shit. What else? Is that it?
144.29, 144.31, 144.32.